Hey, I'm your Wegener and welcome back to the Early Bird Photo News, headless today. My health has been a bit up and down over the last little while, so I had to take a break from posting and see a few doctors instead, but fingers crossed that things are turning a corner and I'll be back to posting regular videos very soon. One benefit of being home a bit more was that I could finally work on a project I wanted to do for a while. There's an African tulip tree in my backyard with these really striking red flowers, and from my back deck it's almost at eye level. When it's flowering, it attracts a constant stream of birds and parrots. The real challenge here is that while the flowers are all over the tree and the birds visit them everywhere, I can only really get nice photos right on the edge of the tree when I have a single flower against a more distant, pleasant looking background. It definitely takes a bit of patience to get a good shot, and I've been living here for a few years and never really gotten a photo that I was truly happy with. But that changed last week when one of the male pale-headed rosellas finally climbed right to the edge on one of the exposed flowers and threw me a very nice looking pose. I have a few more ideas of what I would love to capture, maybe a king parrot that's also red and green on these flowers, or maybe two birds interacting on one or two flowers, but for now I'm very happy with what I've got already. There's actually another second little project happening at home as well, because I noticed that one of our palm trees has these beautiful red fruits. And certain birds just love them. To shoot the birds at eye level and not spook them, I actually have to jump into my car, drive a crazy distance of about 10 feet backwards, and then park right at the top of my driveway. Honestly, I never thought I would be shooting birds from inside my car parked on my driveway, but it definitely works. It hides me from the birds and also the neighbors that might be asking strange questions if I was set up on the street. While the last few weeks have been relatively quiet when it comes to new gear releases, it looks like things are finally heating up. According to multiple sites, it seems basically confirmed that Sony will be releasing the a7R6 in May with a 67 megapixel sensor. Now the big question here is, will the sensor be non-stacked, partially stacked, or fully stacked? I don't think the sensor will be fully stacked because then the camera might edge too close to the A1 Mark II, but a partially stacked sensor is probably the most likely for that camera, and that in return should hopefully give us relatively fast readout speeds and minimal rolling shutter. Even though we have to keep in mind with a high megapixel sensor, even if it's partially stacked, readout speed will likely be relatively slow, and for instance slower than what we're getting on the A7R5, so some rolling shutter will likely remain in the electronic shutter mode. What would make you dump your current camera for the a7R6? Let me know down there. The second item we may see in May or later is the rumored Sony 100 to 400mm constant f4 lens. Now this lens would definitely be interesting for me because I think it's so versatile, especially if it works well with teleconverters. Then we would have a 100 to 400 that allows us to shoot in low light situations at f4, and with the 2x extender we could potentially turn it into a 200 to 800mm f8 lens. The biggest question mark with this lens that will determine how popular it will ultimately be is likely the size and the price. Is it going to be the size of the 400 to 800, so relatively long and heavy, or can Sony somehow make it smaller and lighter and give it an attractive price point? If it's the latter, I think it would be the ultimate versatile lens. And no matter what camera you're using, it's not only important to set it up correctly so you get the best possible performance like I show you in my setup guides linked below, but it's also crucially important to learn the right editing skills to transform the raw files we take in the field into stunning final masterpieces. And to help you to get amazing results quickly, I developed my Lightroom and next generation Photoshop masterclasses. In my masterclasses, I teach you my easy to follow workflow step by step and show you the most important tools and techniques needed to master image editing and get amazing results from your own raw files ready to be shared with the world. But of course you won't just be watching, because I'm also providing you with my own raw files so you can edit right alongside me. And if you're not sure if my masterclasses are worth it or the right fit for you, check out some of the amazing reviews that I receive on a daily basis from many happy students who I've helped to transform their editing lives, who now get great results with ease and actually enjoy the editing process. So if you need help to set up your camera for maximum performance, or finally want to get better at image editing and truly make your raw files shine, check out my setup guides and masterclasses linked down there in the description. I know they will help you a lot. Things have taken a quick and quite dramatic turn in Canon land as well. We all expected the R7 Mark II to be released next, but now it seems like there will be at least 2 other camera bodies released before we even see an R7 Mark II. Canon rumors seem certain that possibly already next week we will see a video-focused smaller camera with no EVF, and then later on also an R8 Mark II. My sources have told me that there is a Canon announcement on May 13, which possibly would be the release date of the R8 Mark II or a retro-style camera. I know an R8 or an R8 Mark II or retro-style camera is not necessarily what most of you have been waiting for, but it seems to be a niche in the market that the camera manufacturers are heavily targeting, with Sony and Canon in particular putting a lot of cameras into that segment. If I got my hands on a potential R8 Mark II, is that a video that would interest you, or are you looking more at other cameras? Sensor-wise, it would be interesting to see what Canon is doing in these cameras. Are they both going to get the sensor of the R6 Mark III, kind of like what Canon did with the R6 Mark II and the R8? Or is it going to get a different kind of sensor? Because we have to keep in mind that the Canon C50 already has that R6 Mark III sensor as well. Now, of course, it's possible that the much smaller body has less features than the C50, and so Canon doesn't see a problem putting the sensor in the camera as well, but it definitely begs the question whether it might have a different sensor altogether. Part of the rumor also mentions that the R8 Mark II actually might be released in two different versions, or in fact might be Canon's long-awaited retro-style camera. Kind of what Nikon has done with their ZF and ZF-C cameras that seem quite popular across the board. The big question remaining in all of this is, where does that leave the R7 Mark II? Is it still going to be released in May as well, like Canon rumors was suggesting on Facebook today, or is it going to come at a later date? My sources have said they don't think the R7 Mark II will come soon, but Canon rumors seem certain it will come soon, so I guess we have to kind of wait and see on that one. But I do wonder if Canon would be willing to release 2 or 3 cameras and a bunch of lenses in the span of just a few weeks. So for now, we don't really know what's going to happen with the R7 Mark II, except that it's not going to be Canon's next camera body being released. While we're on the topic of cameras, it was interesting to see that NASA decided not to take the latest and greatest cameras onto their moon mission, but instead went for proven and known reliability. NASA has actually been using Nikon cameras for years, and in particular the D5 and Z9 have gotten a lot of use. The D5 has been one of the go-to workhorses for astronauts because it's incredibly durable, simple to operate with gloves, and performs consistently in extreme conditions. Simply put, it seems to be a camera that just works. More recently, NASA has also started testing and using the Z9, mainly because of its mirrorless advantages, faster data handling, and improved video capabilities. So while we always love discussing the latest and greatest camera gear, it's good to see that even old cameras can still deliver breathtaking images. And I guess reliability is really a key issue up there, because unless there's some unknown alien camera store up there, it would be very hard to get replacement bodies or parts. As bird and wildlife photographers, we often joke about how amazing it would be to have a crazy zoom lens, like a 50 to 1000mm zoom that allows us to do whatever we want in the field. The funny part is that Canon is actually making this lens, but there's 2 downsides. First of all, it's for video only, and it costs about $80,000. So definitely not cheap, but when you look at people using this lens in the field, it's a dream come true. I've been standing next to videographers using this lens on big video cameras for TV productions, and it's truly amazing. You're able to zoom out all the way from a wide view into a tight headshot of the same bird from the same position. And now Canon has released a new RF version of this lens, going from 40 all the way to a whopping 1200mm. Now, probably not a lens that most of us will ever use, but a very exciting piece of equipment that hopefully one day I get to put my hands on in the field as well. In case you haven't seen it, which is almost impossible with the amount of YouTube videos about it out there, DJI has also released a new Osmo Pocket camera. I have the Osmo Pocket 3 and have quite a love-hate relationship with it. At times, it's amazing to just stick it in your pocket to do vlog-style videos in the field, or put it on top of your camera to give you point-of-view videos. But at the same time, it can be a bit annoying to use because it may suddenly face in a completely wrong direction. You're not filming what you intended to film. And secondly, the lens on it is so wide that it's very hard to see smaller subjects in front of your lens. So overall, it can be quite useful, but I personally haven't used it as much as I thought I would. What I love seeing in the new Osmo Pocket 4 is the little light that you can clip on the back of the camera, lighting up your face in dark situations, and it seemingly also has much better tracking. The main thing that's currently lacking for me in all Osmo Pockets is the ability to switch lenses or cameras like you can do on your iPhone and get high quality footage, not only super wide, but maybe also a little bit more zoomed in. But it seems like that might actually be coming down the road with an Osmo Pocket 4 Pro that might have more than the one lens, which in return would make it very interesting to me and definitely worthwhile of an upgrade. Have you ever used an Osmo Pocket or some of the other kind of action cameras, and do you use them a lot, or did you just buy it and then kind of never used it, kind of like what I've been doing? And lastly, I wanted to share an interesting upgrade with you when it comes to downloading your memory cards. Yes, the cards are getting more expensive, this is what ProGrade has been saying as well, but at the same time they're starting to release new card readers. This is their fast CF Express Type B card reader, but it currently only has one slot, and the same is true for the CF Express Type A card reader as well. But I think from the end of May, ProGrade will now also have readers that have one SD and one fast CF Express Type B or A card slot, which I think is a great addition and definitely something that I will be getting. And now it's time for you to share all your thoughts about this video down there in the comments. Give me a thumbs up for the video, check out my channel membership, masterclasses and setup guide, and please hit that subscribe button so we can grow our community, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye!